There is a conversation I have had repeatedly over the past 20 years with patients in their 60s and 70s who are doing everything right. Eating protein, staying as active as they can, getting adequate sleep, and still losing muscle mass, balance, and strength year after year. I'm Dr. Ellen Bridges, a geriatric physician and nutrition specialist, and what I have come to understand through both clinical work and the research literature is that muscle preservation after 60 is not simply a protein problem. It is a cellular environment problem. After 60, several biological shifts occur simultaneously that make muscles less responsive to the protein you eat. Researchers call this anabolic resistance. Mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside muscle cells, become less efficient. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which the NIH has identified as a primary driver of accelerated aging, actively breaks down muscle tissue. And blood flow to peripheral muscles declines, reducing the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the tissues that need them most. What is remarkable, and what most older Americans are never told, is that certain natural compounds found in common fruits have been studied specifically for their ability to address these cellular mechanisms. Not by adding more protein, but by improving the biological environment in which protein is used. Today, I want to walk you through 6 fruits, all available at any American grocery store, that research supports as genuinely beneficial for muscle health in adults over 60. I will explain the specific mechanism behind each one, how to eat it correctly, and how to combine them across your week for maximum benefit. Before we go through the 6 fruits, I want to explain the biological context clearly, because understanding the why makes the practical recommendations much more meaningful. After 60, muscle loss accelerates for 3 interconnected reasons that go beyond simple protein deficiency. First, mitochondrial dysfunction. As mitochondria in muscle cells age and become less efficient, muscles have less energy available for both physical activity and the repair processes that maintain mass. Research from Harvard Medical School has highlighted mitochondrial health as one of the most important and modifiable targets in aging biology. Second, chronic systemic inflammation. Low-grade persistent inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging in the research literature, directly breaks down muscle protein and suppresses the cellular signals that trigger repair and growth. Third, reduced blood flow and nitric oxide availability. Declining circulation means that even when protein and nutrients are present in the bloodstream, they reach peripheral muscle tissue less efficiently. The fruits in today's video each target one or more of these specific mechanisms through bioactive plant compounds, flavonoids, anthocyanins, specific enzymes, and amino acid precursors that have been studied in clinical settings with older adult populations. The most important practical point: these fruits work best when consumed consistently and in rotation, because they activate different biological pathways. Eating one fruit repeatedly while ignoring the others misses the cumulative complementary benefit that the full combination provides. Fruit number 1. Oranges, supporting muscle metabolism through hesperidin. Oranges are one of the most familiar fruits in the American diet, and for adults over 60, there is a specific reason to be intentional about including them regularly, beyond their well-known vitamin C content. Oranges are among the richest dietary sources of hesperidin, a flavonoid compound that research has shown activates AMPK, a cellular enzyme sometimes described as a master metabolic switch. AMPK activation supports improved energy metabolism in muscle cells and has been studied for its role in reducing the anabolic resistance that makes muscles less responsive to protein signals after 60. In practical terms, hesperidin helps create a more favorable cellular environment for muscle maintenance by improving how efficiently muscle cells generate and use energy. Vitamin C from oranges serves a separate but equally important function. It is essential for collagen synthesis, which maintains the connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, and the structural matrix within muscle itself that holds the musculoskeletal system together. The Mayo Clinic has highlighted vitamin C deficiency as surprisingly common in older Americans, particularly those with reduced fruit and vegetable intake. Research has also shown that the anti-inflammatory polyphenols in oranges help reduce the low-grade systemic inflammation that drives muscle protein breakdown in aging adults, addressing one of the three primary mechanisms of muscle loss described above. How to use them. 1 medium orange per day, eaten whole rather than juiced, provides fiber alongside the hesperidin and vitamin C, fiber that supports the gut microbiome responsible for efficient nutrient absorption. The white pith just beneath the skin contains the highest concentration of hesperidin. Do not peel it too aggressively. Morning is an excellent time. Vitamin C on a relatively empty stomach supports better absorption, and pairing with a protein-containing breakfast means the hesperidin's metabolic support is active when amino acids are entering the bloodstream. Fruit number 2. Blueberries. Mitochondrial support through anthocyanins. Blueberries have accumulated one of the most impressive bodies of research of any single fruit over the past 2 decades, and much of that research is directly relevant to muscle health in older adults. The primary active compounds are anthocyanins and pterostilbene, powerful antioxidant polyphenols that research has shown stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning the body creates new, more efficient mitochondria within existing muscle cells. This is clinically significant because mitochondrial dysfunction is now recognized as a central mechanism of age-related muscle decline. Restoring mitochondrial efficiency does not just improve energy production. It improves the muscle's capacity to repair itself overnight and recover from physical activity. Research from Tufts University found that older adults with higher anthocyanin intake maintained better muscle function and experienced slower rates of strength decline over multi-year follow-up periods. The anti-inflammatory effects of blueberry anthocyanins also reduce the chronic inflammation that directly suppresses muscle protein synthesis in older adults. 1 cup of blueberries per day has become a standard recommendation in several aging-focused research protocols. Fresh or frozen. Frozen blueberries are equally bioactive and typically less expensive. Both work well. How to use them. Add to morning oatmeal or yogurt. Blend into a smoothie with protein powder or Greek yogurt. Eat as a mid-morning snack. Pairing blueberries with a small amount of healthy fat, a few walnuts, a drizzle of almond butter, enhances absorption of fat-soluble antioxidants. Avoid blueberry products with added sugars, which introduce a glycemic burden that offsets the anti-inflammatory benefit. Fruit number 3. Papaya. Protein digestion and muscle preservation. Papaya addresses a specific and frequently overlooked dimension of the muscle loss problem in older adults: digestive efficiency. No matter how much protein you eat, if your digestive system cannot break it down effectively into absorbable amino acids, your muscles do not benefit. After 60, stomach acid production declines, enzyme output decreases, and gut motility slows, all of which reduce protein digestion efficiency. Papaya contains papain, a proteolytic enzyme that directly supports the breakdown of dietary protein into smaller peptides and free amino acids. Consuming papaya alongside or shortly before a protein-containing meal meaningfully improves the efficiency of protein digestion, ensuring that more of the amino acids from that meal actually reach the bloodstream and become available for muscle repair. Papaya also contains beta-cryptoxanthin, a carotenoid that research has linked to muscle preservation in older adults. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that higher beta-cryptoxanthin intake was associated with significantly lower rates of muscle mass decline over time in adults over 65, an independent effect separate from the digestive enzyme benefit. The vitamin C content of papaya is also exceptional. 1 cup provides more than 100% of the daily recommended intake, supporting collagen synthesis and the anti-inflammatory environment that muscle repair requires. How to use it. Half a cup of fresh or frozen papaya as part of a meal containing protein. Chicken, fish, lentils, Greek yogurt activates papain's digestive support when it is most useful. Papaya is widely available at most American grocery stores year-round. Choose ripe papaya with orange-yellow skin for the highest enzyme activity. If fresh papaya is unavailable, frozen works well for smoothies. Fruit number 4. Pomegranate, the most clinically documented fruit for aging muscle. Pomegranate holds a unique position on this list because its benefits for aging muscle are supported by some of the most rigorous clinical trial data available for any fruit. The key mechanism involves urolithin A, a compound produced when the gut microbiome metabolizes elagitannins from pomegranate. Urolithin A activates mitophagy, the cellular process that identifies and removes damaged, dysfunctional mitochondria and replaces them with new, efficient ones. In aging muscles where accumulated mitochondrial dysfunction is a primary driver of weakness and fatigue, this cleanup and renewal process is genuinely restorative. A randomized clinical trial studying adults aged 65 to 90 found that urolithin A supplementation, produced naturally through pomegranate consumption in individuals with the appropriate gut microbiome, improved muscle endurance and mitochondrial function measurably. Additional research published in Nature Metabolism found that urolithin A reduced myostatin expression in human muscle cells, myostatin being a protein that actively inhibits muscle growth, the production of which increases with age. Not everyone produces sufficient urolithin A from pomegranate. It depends on the composition of your individual gut microbiome. This is why consuming pomegranate alongside prebiotic fiber foods like oats, legumes, or berries supports the gut bacteria responsible for this conversion. How to use it? 1 cup of pomegranate arils, seeds, 2 to 3 times per week, or 4 to 6 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily with no added sugars. Pomegranate arils are sold pre-packaged at most Costco, Walmart, and Whole Foods locations, making them genuinely accessible without the effort of breaking open the fruit. Pair with a small amount of plain Greek yogurt. The probiotic bacteria in yogurt complement the prebiotic compounds in pomegranate to support the gut microbiome conversion to urolithin A. Fruit number 5. Watermelon, nitric oxide, and blood flow to muscles. Watermelon is one of the richest dietary sources of citrulline, an amino acid that the body converts into arginine, which in turn is used to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that signals blood vessels to relax and widen. For older adults, this circulatory benefit is directly relevant to muscle health. Declining nitric oxide production with age is associated with reduced blood flow to peripheral muscles, meaning less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach working muscle tissue. The American Heart Association has consistently highlighted nitric oxide availability as a key determinant of cardiovascular and peripheral vascular health in aging populations. Improved circulation does not just support muscle performance during exercise. It accelerates recovery afterward by clearing metabolic waste products, including ammonia, from fatigued muscle tissue more efficiently. Watermelon also provides lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that reduces the oxidative stress that damages muscle cells during and after physical activity. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that citrulline from watermelon juice reduced muscle soreness and improved recovery speed in subjects performing physical activity, effects that are particularly valuable for older adults whose recovery from exertion takes longer. How to use it? 1 to 2 cups of fresh watermelon or 4 ounces of pure watermelon juice approximately 60 minutes before any planned physical activity. Walking, gardening, light exercise maximizes the nitric oxide benefit during the activity window. The rind of watermelon actually contains higher citrulline concentrations than the flesh. Blending the pale green inner rind into a smoothie is an effective way to capture this benefit. Choose whole, fresh watermelon over processed watermelon products with added sugars. Fruit number 6. Tart cherries, the inflammation and recovery specialist. Tart cherries, sold as fresh, frozen, or juice at most American grocery stores, have accumulated a particularly strong research record specifically for muscle recovery and anti-inflammatory support in older adults. The active compounds are anthocyanins, the same class of polyphenols found in blueberries, but present in tart cherries at even higher concentrations. These anthocyanins function as natural cyclooxygenase inhibitors. They reduce the production of inflammatory prostaglandins that cause muscle soreness, joint pain, and the chronic low-grade inflammation that drives accelerated muscle breakdown with age. Research has documented that tart cherry consumption reduces C-reactive protein, one of the primary blood markers of systemic inflammation, and measurably reduces markers of oxidative stress in muscle tissue. For older adults who experience significant delayed onset muscle soreness after even moderate activity, and who consequently avoid the physical activity that would maintain their strength, this recovery support has a compounding benefit. Less soreness means more consistent activity, which produces better maintained muscle mass over time. Tart cherry juice also contains melatonin precursors that support sleep quality, and adequate deep sleep is when the majority of overnight muscle repair occurs. Adults over 60 frequently experience fragmented sleep, which directly impairs the overnight muscle protein synthesis that cottage cheese and casein protein support. Tart cherry juice at bedtime addresses both the inflammation and the sleep dimensions of muscle recovery simultaneously. How to use it? 4 ounces of pure tart cherry juice, no added sugars, in the evening before bed. Frozen tart cherries blended into a smoothie or eaten over yogurt provide similar benefits. Look specifically for tart cherries, also labeled Montmorency cherries, not sweet cherries. The anthocyanin concentration is substantially higher in the tart variety. The most important practical insight about these 6 fruits is that they work through different biological mechanisms, making rotation more effective than relying on any single fruit daily. Here is a simple weekly rotation that covers all 6 mechanisms. Day 1. Orange plus papaya. Hesperidin for metabolic support, papain for protein digestion. Best eaten as part of breakfast alongside a protein source. Day 2. Blueberries plus watermelon. Anthocyanins for mitochondrial biogenesis, citrulline for blood flow. Blueberries at breakfast, watermelon as a pre-activity snack. Day 3. Pomegranate plus tart cherry juice. Urolithin A for mitophagy, anthocyanins for inflammation and recovery. Pomegranate with lunch, tart cherry juice before bed. Day 4. Return to day 1 rotation and repeat. This 3-day cycle ensures consistent activation of the mitochondrial, anti-inflammatory, circulatory, and digestive pathways that together create the most favorable biological environment for muscle maintenance after 60. Key combination principles. Pair any of these fruits with a protein source at the same meal. The anti-inflammatory and digestive benefits are most impactful when protein is present to be utilized. Avoid fruit juices with added sugars. The glycemic burden of sweetened juices offsets anti-inflammatory benefits and promotes the insulin resistance that impairs muscle protein synthesis. Frozen fruit is equally bioactive as fresh in all 6 cases. Choose whatever form makes consistent daily intake most realistic for your lifestyle. 3 clinical points I want to address directly before we close. Do not replace protein with fruit. These 6 fruits support the biological environment in which protein is used. They do not replace the protein itself. Adequate daily protein intake, 0.6 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight for most adults over 60, remains the foundation. These fruits amplify the benefit of that protein. They do not substitute for it. Watch the sugar content of fruit juice. Pure pomegranate juice, pure tart cherry juice, and pure watermelon juice with no added sugars are genuinely beneficial. The bottled pomegranate blend, or cherry cocktail products that line most grocery store shelves contain primarily grape juice and added sugars. Always read the ingredient label. If the first ingredient is not the named fruit, you are not getting the bioactive compounds discussed today. Medical considerations. If you take blood thinners, Tart cherries' anti-inflammatory effects can mildly enhance anticoagulant activity. Mention increased consumption to your physician. If you manage kidney disease, discuss high-potassium fruits like pomegranate with your care team. If you have diabetes, monitor blood sugar response to fruit juices and prefer whole fruit with its fiber intact. Muscle loss after 60 is not inevitable. It is driven by specific biological mechanisms: mitochondrial dysfunction, chronic inflammation, reduced circulation, declining digestive efficiency. And those mechanisms are genuinely addressable through consistent, informed dietary choices. Oranges, blueberries, papaya, pomegranate, watermelon, and tart cherries each address a different piece of that puzzle. Together, rotated consistently across your week alongside adequate protein and whole food nutrition, they create the cellular environment that aging muscles need to maintain, and in some cases, rebuild strength, endurance, and function. Start this week. Pick 2 fruits from today's list. Add them to your meals consistently for 4 weeks. Then tell me in the comments what you noticed in your energy, your recovery, and how your legs feel on your morning walk. If this was useful, please share it with someone you care about. Give it a like and subscribe to Healthy Senior Tips for more evidence-based nutrition guidance built specifically for Americans over 60. Take good care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.